Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we are taking a look at Ridgewalk by Aqeel Aadam. It's rad. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Jade. This is How to App on iOS, and I hope you're all doing well. We're going to kick off today with the app. We're going to get straight into it. No messing about, nothing like that, because this is a rad new era here on the show. As I said, we're looking at Ridgewalk today. It is by Aqeel Aadam. You can get it on the App Store. It is available on PC, Mac, various ways. I'm going to show you right now. You can get it on your PC. Here it is here. You can get it from Gumroad. Now, Aqeel is also the developer for Weeping Wall. So it's currently sitting, Ridgewalk, at $50 if you want to get it for your PC or your Mac. What is it? VST AU Clap plugin. But it is also available on iOS, which is what we're looking at today, for $9.99. Also, I would wait, well, not wait, but if you already own the bundle, there is a bundle that's available for Aqeel's previous app, Weeping Wall, then I would get it in the bundle. There's a link for both in the description. There's a bundle link and there's a link for the standalone version. Not the standalone version, but the actual version by itself. You will save a shitload of money. Yeah, you'll definitely save a lot of money. If you get both of them, it's $14.99. If you get one of them, it's $9.99. It's altogether, you're looking at $18.98. So you're better off if you've already got Weeping Wall. Go over, check out the bundle, and you'll see the app at a reduced price. Okay, hello to you all in the chat. I'll say g'day to you all individually at some stage along here. But we're going to keep things moving with this new era of the show. What is Weeping Wall? Well, I'm going to play some of it and let you see. Let's oge. So in a nutshell, Weeping Wall is a granular micro looper. It takes sounds and loops them through and repeats the loops. You can build up to about 10 loops. You can spread the sound, you can melt the sound, you can glitch them all out, and you can create these little microchasms of loops, and they can glitch and all that. It's pretty wild stuff. If you saw Weeping Wall, it's a kind of similar app, but a little bit different because it's more of a Zen garden and a waterfall where the loops are randomly dropped down like waterfall droplets. But this one's totally it's similar but totally different. So we're going to clear out this little project we had there that I made last night. We're going to jump in and show you how exactly it works. And we're just going to kick off with something really simple, a plain old boring piano, because you know why? You'll hear everything nice and clearly with a piano. And we're going to load up a instance of Ridgewalk. I'm going to connect my keyboard to this, my Arturia keyboard. And let's run through what this thing does. Firstly, I just love the background. It just, as soon as you open it up, it's kind of offering you like this invitation of peace, and that you can create some really beautiful textures, like Weeping Wall, how it had this Zen garden kind of feel. This one's a little bit different. It's kind of like in an open plane, as you can see by the image. I really like it. I think it's very calming to use. We'll jump over to the settings first. And the way everything's set up is really nice. I especially love this, just this nice little logo down here. It looks really, really stylish. I don't know. Hey, I'm going to comment on the look of it. Does the look do anything? I don't know. It makes me feel comfortable when I'm using it. We've got some settings over here in the top corner when you hit the cog wheel, and you've got a low pass filter where to use this, you just drag up and down. You've got a high pass filter. Then we've got some options here called playback syncing. So when all these are enabled on startup, loopers will play pause when the host begins. What is the host? That is when you have it in something like this, AUM or Logic or Cubasis. So when you hit play within the host, it will start playing here. So playback syncing is set to play when you hit playback in your host. Recording syncing. You can turn this on and off as well. Classic recording mode. The recording will start automatically when the host begins. So again, when you hit the host button, just hit play, not record. The looper will start recording. You also have the option to have instant playback. So immediately start playing back the loops that you're creating as soon as you start recording. There's two arrows down the bottom here. This one takes you to the second page. You can have up to 10 layers of loops. Of course, if you're running an iPad that's, I don't know, got a bit older, I wouldn't go too much, yeah? Chill out. But if you've got a more powerful iPad, you can bring this up to like 10 loops. The maximum loops of layers you can have running is 10. Pitch quantization. Now, this one's really fun. This is how you can create some really beautiful shimmery effects, like really nice octave and sevenths. So if you click here, you get pitch quantization for octaves, or you get this beautiful one here, which is octaves and fifths. Really nice. And I'll show you how it's just beautiful. Lastly, this is what probably all of you are going to want to keep on, tooltips. Because if you keep the tooltips on for when you're first using this, every time you touch a control, you'll get a little nice instructional manual. To get out of this option setting, just click off and you're back. Now you notice what I mean. When I click on something here, you see I get this little manual up the top there. Every single thing has a little bar up the top that just gives you a hint. So if you're just starting out, a really good way to understand what's going on. All right, let's dive in, because there are 3 sections of importance, and you can see when I highlight over them, they kind of light up for you. The first one is the buffer, and this is the the recorder, the looper, how many loopers you're going to have, how fast they're going to go, how long they're going to go, and you've got options by clicking on this little tab, which gives you a whole lot of further options. All of these 3 sections have the option to click and give you more options. The looper, the looper section gives you the ability to blur the sound, to change the pitch, to create drift within your loops, to skip and create glitching and stuff like that. And the final one is called traversal, where traversal allows you to change the spread of the loopers, because they'll all be playing around the same time as they travel through, but you can actually start spreading them out, and you can change the start position like you would with any loop. You can trim them and make them start a little bit further into the loop. You'll see that as we go. Plus, you have this section here of like moving, wandering, forward, backwards, ping pong, tapping, or external. And you have your sync time, which can work really well with a fast loop and a slow sync time, and you can just create some really magical stuff. Of course, we've got a dry and a wet mix like you would find in any plugin, and these controls here, this is your play, your pause. So if you've got loops built up, you can hit pause and everything will stop. You can reverse from here, and if you hit the big X and hold down for a second, this will clear your loops. Now, as I start recording things in, watch the background here, because you'll start to see loops build, and they'll taper off into the distance as they build up. It's really, really nice. So to kick off, we're going to head back over to the buffer. Now, as I said, there's a few different ways to record here in the buffer section. Auto record, you've got classic recording, and a file import. We're going to start with auto recording. So whenever I hit a note, right, it should just record the note. Now you notice nothing happened. Nothing happened. So because we have a threshold here within our auto, within our buffer. Now when you close the buffer, you have two controls here, two important controls, and they are the threshold and the hold time. Okay, so now if I pull down and up on these, the circle gets smaller. So the smaller I make the circle, the softer it's going to accept the piano. So now if I hit a note, watch, it's going to be louder. See how it was bigger than the circle. So it's now just recorded my first loop. That's my first loop. And it'll come around again in a second. There it is again. And this will just keep looping and doing it'll keep trailing along until it gets around again, and it'll play that loop again. But now I can go in and at any time play a bunch of other notes in here. So now we have two loops running. And you can see, as you look into the distance here, we have the original one back here, which is faded out. And we have our new one in here. Now, if I tap on the buffer, we can see there's actually three loops running. Now, if I play again, let's do some higher notes. So now we've got four loops counting over here. Now, if I don't like the last one that I played, I can just grab this and pull it back to the 3 or back to the 2. And I can turn them back up and bring those back in. Let's add another one. I'll play a chord this time. Now you probably think that's a little bit boring. We've got these loops going back and forward. Now they're all playing at the same kind of time. Now you'll notice, let's stop this. So when you hit pause, everything will stop. Now if I hit play again over here, it'll all start again because it's all saved within the memory of these buffers. But if I want to, so next to our pause button, we've got a reverse. So now if I hit the reverse, watch it, we'll start going backwardo. Now, if I don't like any of this and I want to start again, there's this little X button, and all you do is just hold down on it for a second, let go, and look, everything just fades away and we're back to our beginning. So I can start again, play a chord, and now I've got it set backwards, so the very first notes are going to be played in backwards. Now, at any time, if I'm bored of this piano, I can remove the piano if I want. I can come in and put anything I want in here, like this healing bowl. We'll connect this to my keyboard, give it some reverb and some delay and a bit of chorus, and now so we've still got those piano notes in there looping, but now I've added in another instrument. And again, I could close out of this and grab something else, and you can start building these beautiful soundscapes, which is really, 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 really nice. We'll grab a spell dozer. So we'll come back to currently got 5 layers running. We'll close out of our buffer. Let's move over to the loopers. We'll need to come back to our buffer and talk about different styles of recording. So in our looper section, we have size and blur. Now think of blur like taking all of the layers and kind of mashing them together, but spreading them out at the same time. So I'm going to turn up this blur and watch what happens. Really nice. If I click on the loopers link, here we get a whole bunch of other options within here. The first option is the amount. Now I can turn this down from here, which I'll show you at another stage. And this will normally control if I hold down, you'll see amount sets the number of loopers currently playing, right? So we'll leave it at 3. We can turn this all the way up to 7. We can change the pitch here. And we've got 2 octaves. Wow. And now you've got your shimmers. We're going to come back and bring our piano back in here. So we can go 1 octave, we can go semitones. We can go 2 octaves down and create dark hellscapes. Wow. Now, the beautiful thing is, if you're using Logic and you're using stuff like AUM here, all of the parameters are open. So you can add an LFO to any of these and start getting some movement amongst them. You could get the pitch slowly moving with an LFO and create some really crazy stuff. Everything's open at your disposal, even the ability to set a CC key on a keyboard for the record button, so you can choose when to record things. Really nice. Really nice. Now the size. Let's talk about the size here. The size sets the length of the loopers in seconds. So if I pull this all the way down, let's bring this back to... So now the loopers are set to 0. So it's moving a lot faster. And you can see that by... Let's turn it all the way up so you can see what's happening here. And we'll talk about this little moving, this traversing little line here, this little worm, yeah? So I haven't talked about this yet. Now you see when I turn up the size, it just creates a mountain, just a peak. That's because we're running at 4 seconds. So it's just a huge peak. If we bring this down, wow. Now this is our size here. If I bring it all the way down, you'll see this little peak get smaller. Look at it, so small now. But as we turn it up larger, it gets wider. I mean, I just love the sounds in this thing. It's really beautiful. But we also have the ability to add some drift, because currently, as I said, all of the buffers, they're all running at the same time together. So by adding some drift in here, you can actually start, it slowly splits them apart and gives them a little bit of just variation. But whenever you open it, it is set to 25%. So there's always a little bit of drift. But if you turn this up, now remember, this stuff is subtle, right? You're not going to hear these major differences. Lastly here, we have this random skip. Now, this will add skipping, it'll add blank spaces in there. It's currently set to 0, so you're hearing everything. But if we start to introduce it just a little bit, you'll start to hear what we like to call, I guess, glitching. But it's actually removing sound. Let's take out the blur. Now, if I turn this all the way up to 100, we lose all sound because it's removed everything. But if we bring this back down to a respectable, I don't know, 37, you've got this natural randomized glitching that's going on there. But you've got options too. Whenever you see a little drop down arrow underneath one of these dials, it normally means there's some extra options. So in here we have random volume. Now if I switch between these, the random skip is still going to be activated. So let's go to random volume. And now different parts of the loop are getting different variations in volume. Let me give this a little bit more guts. Maybe just a bit of gain. We'll add back some blur. Now, if you want to follow how this is traversing, you can see there's this little dot here. I'll zoom in. See it? This is the path and the speed of the loop currently. We'll bring down the size. Now the reason it looked like it was running backwards was we had so much size there, so much size going on, that it was just floating between that mountain. But now we've pulled down the size, so you can see this little dot is leading that worm along. Let's add something else in here. Let's add some high piano notes. Now remember, we're still running backwards. You saw when I recorded something in, it recorded it in backwards. Let's change it back to forwards. So we're now running forwards. I want you to pay attention right here. Right at the start, as soon as you hit a note, you'll see a little line start going across. That is the speed of us recording notes in. And it gets to the end, and that's the end of your recording, right? Whoops, wrong button. Don't want to see my ugly face. We'll change the pitch up, down. Now, if I close out of this, the main two options you have here are size and blur, yeah? Let's go back in here and talk about the size, because if you click on this arrow, you can decide between free running size or synced size. So now that I've got synced size, we can run this size by triplets, dotted 16th, so it will be running in sync with your door. Now, I said earlier about this setting up here. Let's go in here and mess with this and turn up our pitch quantization and turn this to octaves and fifths, and watch what happens when we mess with the pitch now. Just, oh man, I literally sit here and have been playing with this since I got it. I've had this for over a month and a half or so on the beta, and I just set this and go to bed. It's another one of these beautiful, beautiful apps. Aqeel has done a fantastic job. Now, let me tell you, before we go into our break, we'll just hit pause on this. It's going to die out. So there's a couple of bugs at the moment. Now, when you try and change the amount of loopers while it's running, you may get a crash. Don't worry. Aqeel is well aware of it. There's a fix in the works. It's about to be submitted to the App Store, so all good. So don't worry about that. Just in case you see it happen, yeah, just letting you be aware of what's going on. All right, we are at our halfway point, and this is the point now where I get to say hello to you. Yeah? Things have changed on the channel. Hello, Fish. I hope you're well. Mr. Smith, Midnight Bandit, what's going on? Leela. We got, who else is it? Say hello to me so I can, oh my God, Saga Kadabra, what the Holy shit. Yes, my stupid face, I know. Thomas Christ, g'day. Saga, I can't believe you're Many Vibes. Hello, Many Vibes. I'll give you an update to Many Vibes while you're here. So we were getting ready to film the next episode of Walk With Me this week, but I think because we've had torrential thunderstorms and stuff here over the last 2 days, I may have to go and film it next week because I'm still coughing and I don't want to go to the places I'm going where I'm going to be coughing all over everybody, because I'm planning on taking you to the Banksy expo. So we're going to look at all of Banksy's artworks and stuff. So I may have to put it back till next week. We'll see how I feel tomorrow and how the weather is, because I don't want to go to an exhibition and be coughing on everybody. Do you know what that's like post-pandemic? It's not cool. People think you're like got leprosy. Isomatic, hello to you. Who else have I missed? I saw Brad at the start of the show. I can only scroll so high. Please let me know you're here so I can say hello to you. Thomas, I got you. Ed Zielinski, g'day Ed. Boom, right on. Right. We're at a halfway point. Need to run the ad. So every day on the show we run an ad, which helps me get paid, and it helps the algorithm and all that stuff. So hold on to your ankles. You can skip the ad by just hitting skip if you get served one, or become a YouTube Premium subscriber. The ad has been run. All right, you may or may not get an ad. Let's quickly tell you while people are waiting, or have got served an ad if you did get one. So yes, big changes were announced here on the channel. Coming up tomorrow will be the first drop of our first pre-recorded tutorial. So look out for those. They're going to be dropping all this week. I'm still trying to work out which time they'll drop. Tomorrow we got a special show, because that's what happens here every day on the channel. We're not doing tutorials live here every day now. Tomorrow we're looking at Logic Pro. Is it worth your time 1 year later? We'll discuss. Come in, have a bitch, have a moan. I'll be complaining about stuff, going, yelling at clouds. That's what it's all about. And then, because of all these changes on the channel, guess what it means? I get to make more music now. So we're continuing on creating a brand new utensils album, something I started way back in, I think, April or something like that. Going to come back and try and finish this project. I'm going to get a lot more music finished as we go along. Hello, Falcro. Good to see you. All right, let's bounce over and get back into this so we can get out of here and you can get on with your day and do what you need to do. Back to Ridgewalk. So we haven't covered our last section here, which is our traversal. So let's click on traversal. We'll hit play again and bring these wonderful sounds back. So in traversal, here is where you can mess around with the actual loops that are in here. You can decide the fade time. Now, if I turn up this fade time, when I stop this, it should have a really long fade time. Here, it's still going, still going, still going. But I've actually stopped the loops, and they're eventually just fading out. Or you can turn this all the way down, so we can bring this right back to 0, start the project again, hit play. And when I stop it, it should stop a lot faster, hopefully. Is it? I don't know, maybe. Not all the time it works, actually. So... there we go. It is a bit faster. So you also have the spread here. Now this will spread the loopers out. So, and not spreading like how the other one was kind of this way, from what I gather, because there isn't a manual for this, yeah? So, so what I'm gathering is the spread is so this way. So as you can see up here, we're looking into the distance of these loops, and this spread will actually spread them out further. So let's start it up again. We'll add some more stuff in. And we can go in here and we can edit the start position and the end position. So notice when I turn this up, it's moving along here. We can pull the end position back. We can make this just one tight sound and build drama. Drag it back, build drama again. So remember, you can automate all of these dials here and really just go bananas. Also, we can control this little wormy thing here. We'll call him Wormy McWormison, and we can decide how Wormy McWormison, that's a mouthful. Currently, Wormy McWormison's going forward, but we can send Wormy backward. So now follow this dot here, and now our dot is leading everything backwards. We can go in a ping pong and go from here back. Well, the reason there's no manual, many vibes, is when you hold down on anything, you get the instructions up the top. So there's a manual, a real-time manual happening every time. So I don't think you need one, but some people like reading them, you know? We can come in here and choose tap. Now, what does tap do? I'll show you. You can take your finger and you can drag it and decide where you want Wormy to go. With your finger. So you've got heaps of ways to control this thing. Look at this, it's great. Also, my favorite is called Wander. So what does Wander do? Wander gives the worm permission to just go wherever it wants, and it just meanders and goes backwards and forwards with no rhyme or reason, like a drunk guy leaving the pub, and it just meanders and does whatever. So you've got far more opportunity for, like, you know, randomization, unpredictability, which is just beautiful. Let's add in some more notes here. Just a nice chord. Hello, Kim. Bloody Ritual, g'day. Okay, now you can also change the speed. So let's go back to forward. We'll come back over here to our loopers. We'll unblur. Let's come over to our traversal. Now I've set this, the highest you can run this is 32 bars. So now our Wormy is running slow. Slow. And what's really interesting, because if you're running this at a super slow speed, you can then come over to your loopers and change the size. And then blur this and just make this so creamy or moist. Sorry. Absolutely, Mr. Smith. It is beautiful for playing because I think I've been playing mostly as C. Wow. But we can bring this speed all the way down to 1 bar, right? Let's take out this blur. Now, of course, there's an arrow here for our sync. We can change this to general time. Now, this is running so fast, it can't keep up. Look how fast the dot is just going. It's just... Let's slow it down. I love that we're getting all these artifacts in here as well. Let's set it to wander. So when you change from wander to any of these other ones, the speed changes for a specific thing for the wander. So we can, if you turn up really fast, you're going to get a lot of artifacting. Artifacting, is that a word? All right. Also, you can set a dry mix. You can take out all of the dry, or you can take out all the wet, right? So you can get a balance of... Okay, let's clear this out of here. Very easy to do so. Just hold the X for a second, let go. And you'll see everything fade away up here. We've got a long, see, it's all gone. And now everything's gone. Ready to go. Right, let's talk about the other way you can record things in. Hello, Hugh. Good to see you as well. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out today. So in the buffer section, now we have this infinite time. So you can actually set up like, think about like a reverb here. If we bring the hold time down, and then play in, whoops, we've got it's a little bit loud because we've got this gain here. So it's only going to last for a short time, right? If we come in here, pull this right down, we'll clear this out, whoops. See how that disappears? It slows all the way down. You can actually go in here and change the settings from the hold time. So you can bring it all the way down. So you can create some really interesting reverbs and short delays and stuff like that as well. Let's go back here and clear this out. One thing I need to tell you. In our buffer section, when we click on it, this synced size, you have to determine this before you start playing. So you can decide how long you want each loop to be. You can go all the way up to 17 bars. All right. So now if I set this to 17 bars and play some notes in, you can see how slow that line is. So you can decide how you want that to roll as we've got 17 bars there. So you've got the power to control all of that. Let's cover the feedback section as well. Just going to make sure you get play in here. So there's our first loop. And once you record something into the loop, you can't change it. See, now I'll try and change these. you can't change it, right? So whatever you have your initial buffer set to, let's close this, clear it out. You can't change that. But by creating variations, all right, we're good. We can bring this down. So you can go all the way down to 1 beat. You can do 2 bars, 1 bar. You can decide how long you want your recordings to be within the buffer. We'll go here, we'll set it to 2 bars. But be aware, when you play notes in, if you play short and let go, you have all this blank here at the end of your second bar, right? But there's another way to record. So we've been using auto record all this time. And if you come down here, you can click on classic recording, and this gives you the option to hit the record when you want. So I can hit record now, stop, and there's my first layer. And I can hit record again just by tapping. Stop. And now you can see we've got 2 layers running. So you have complete control to record in the way you want. Let's just record fast and stop. Let's hit record again and then wait. And start to build up these patterns spread out across. Now if I come back out here, our buffer's set very low. So that's why we're not getting a continuous thing going on there. Let's hit play, and this will bring everything back. Now you can alter all this stuff in real time. That's the beautiful thing. We can come in and change our size and change from wandering to forward, change the traversal times, fades, while everything continues to play. Okay, lastly, I want to show you, so we're pretty much at the end, guys, is with this buffer recording, with your classic recording, it's when you open up the app, it's automatically set to record when you hit play up here. So if you notice, I'll hit play and it'll start recording. And it'll just keep recording. It just keeps going and going and going. How do I stop that? I showed you at the beginning the options. Record syncing. In classic recording mode, recording will start automatically when the host begins. So you can turn that off there. Well, you can run the click track here, Mr. Smith, if you're in your DAW, you know. So I could add some drums to this any time, but just by throwing in play beat. Now, I'll be doing a play beat episode pre-record. This is one of the first pre-records that's going to be happening this week of their brand new pack for this unveil. And remember, you can add your own effects on here as well too, like an Altether. Get some shimmers going. All right, let's clear that out. The one last thing you can do with recording, and it's not really my favorite, because I like actually using my own sample that I add, because you can add a sample up here, but you can come in here, come into your recording section, and in this drop down choose file import, and then in here you can click on this and you can import your own file in here. Let's just grab one. Date. Shit, I can't remember what the thing was called. Happy Jade. Happy Jade converted. Yes. So you can bring in your own. You can import your own file and then go around and mess with the blurring and size yourself. And it can accept any kind of file, yeah? Any size. And you can start building them, you know what I mean? So you can come in here and add a healing bowl, then add a weeping wall, a ridge. And we're in C at the moment. So now we've got 2 of these running. Awesome. Hopefully that's given you an understanding of how this thing works. It is just beautiful. I love it. As I said in the beginning, it is available on PC and Mac as well from Gumroad. The link is, I will drop it in the description. Aqeel Aadam at .gumroad.com. Ridgewalk, so it's $50 for those services if you want to get it on your iOS device. It's $9.99 on iOS, but if you've already got Weeping Wall, his other awesome app, go and check out the bundle because you'll get it at a cheaper price, yeah? Good stuff. What's coming up tomorrow? We've got the Logic, is Logic still cool video kind of stuff. And there'll be a pre-recorded tutorial drop some stage. Oh, and this week's interview is with Michael Zealand Band, if you didn't know already. So he's coming on the show. But Senzo Saga is here. You won't want to miss next week's interview. It is being pre-recorded because she's very busy, but we have an amazing Katie Underwood is coming on the show. Former singer with pop band Bardo, and now a music healer who uses Tibetan singing bowls and actual singing. And when I was sick in hospital, she literally came into the hospital and gave me a healing treatment, and it was the most beautiful thing that I ever experienced. And she's going to give us some time to come on the show and talk about healing through music and stuff. So that's really exciting. Lots of wicked stuff coming up in this new era of How to App on iOS. Pete Johns is up next. I'll dump you over there. So, yeah. Thank you for joining us. Remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together. You all rock for hanging out. If you're watching on a replay, please hit the like, do the subscribe, send a super thanks or a PayPal if you want. But let's get out of here. Let's play the music. Let's... Oh, ja!